to everybody that just joined us. So I want to know what came to mind when I posted a flyer that said healthy habits for a healthy business. What did you guys think of?
Well, when you think of habits, it's something that you do every day. That's kind of what I thought of.
That's great.
I would say mine went along with that because I thought consistency.
Right. Okay. Consistency.
Okay. Well, who else? What did you guys
Discipline. Consistency and discipline.
think? Okay. So so tell me a little bit think of one area of your life where you're like, you know what, I do really well with this. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a big thing. It could be your career. It could be your fitness. It could be how you cook and prepare food. It could be your church attendance. It could be a lot of different things. Think about something in your life that you're like, you know what, I do that really well. And because I do that really well consistently, I can see what from it? Growth, change, transformation. You think about something like marriage. Richard and Reagan, how long have you guys been married? Bobby and Patty, how long have you been married?
28 years.
28 years?
Yep.
Well, we were married in 93. 83. Gosh, 83. So I don't know. You'll have to add that up.
Right. So Bobby and Patty were married before some of you were born.
Exactly. I need a calculator.
Okay. So do you think that these couples have invested some healthy habits and some hard work over time to make their marriages work? Think about, some of the relationships that mean something to you in your life. You've made significant investments. You've done things maybe when you didn't feel like it or it didn't feel good. Think about relationships when you said you just ate crow and said, okay, I'm sorry, I'm letting this one go. So anytime that we think about health, we want to think about, okay, well, how can I apply this to my Juice Plus mission, right? And I didn't do a presentation tonight because Mel thinks I'm crazy with my PowerPoints, but I love them. And
I love your PowerPoints.
I know, I'm a dork, but the visual consistency for me helps. But I'm going to give you 3 C's, and you can write these down. If you guys will give number 1, consistency, right, to your 2 other C's, which is your calendar and your contacts, then you will build such a healthy relationship with your business and a healthy business because of it, right? Because what you're really doing with that, when you devote consistency to your calendar, now you don't have to be like, oh, hey, I'm racing to NMD, but you might say, you know what? I really want to make an impact. In 2020, I want to bring 20 to 25 new customers under me. So what would you need to do that? Maybe have an event once a month, or promise yourself you're going to build into the local event and take a carload of people. If you're the person that's saying, you know what, 2020 is my year, I'm going to start rocking up that new compensation plan that the Juice Plus company has given me, then maybe you commit your calendar to an event once a month, right? And you're also making a commitment to the contacts that you know to share Juice Plus with everyone, to share our business or our mission with everyone, and to constantly be adding new people to that list. So that means get over being afraid of, telling somebody about the mission when you think, oh, they already have a successful career and they have 5 kids and, they run the youth group at church and they're too busy. There's no way. Stop prejudging people and give those contacts a commitment that you will reach out to them and at least share what the opportunity is and ask them, is this something that you could see benefiting you? And how do you see it benefiting you? And if not you, who do you know, right? Asking for those referrals. So as I thought about that today, I thought those healthy habits, for those of us and I think I can say it's all of us, right? We've been on a health journey since we started Juice Plus. For so many of us, Juice Plus was a catalyst to getting better health. 13 years ago, on Juice Plus, I was learning to read labels. I was learning that the food pyramid that I thought was like the biblical truth was not so good for us. That maybe we didn't need 6 servings of dairy and grains every day in our diet, right? So think about how those healthy habits, now they built slowly, one simple change at a time, but they started to compile on each other. And think about with your business, it's the same as your health. I tell my customers all the time, if you make one simple change a month, and you do that every month of the year, at the end of a year, you have 12 changes you've made. Don't you think that this whole picture of your health will look significantly different at the end of the year? So think about that with your Juice Plus. I'm going to introduce a term that may be new for some of you, which is DMO, which is your daily method of operation. Your DMO can look very different by the end of a calendar year if you make some little tweaks to it, 1 month at a time. This month you might say, you know what? I'm doing great with my customer care. I do a good job touching base with my team, but you know what? I can't remember the last time I talked to somebody new. It happens to all of us. There's no guilt or judgment around that, right? We get in the flow of one thing and we forget about the other. So maybe you say, this month, the thing I am going to concentrate on is I am going to have the intention that I will talk to one new person every day. And I mean, you can play fun little games with this. I've done things like, I'm not leaving the gym till I talk to somebody new. So I will talk to somebody at the end of, body pump or whatever, and just see where the conversation goes. Or, there have been times where it's like, yeah, you're rocking and rolling and you're talking to new people. And then, oh my gosh, 3 people got their shipment and I forgot to call them. So maybe I need to come back and focus a little bit on that customer care. Am I really doing my best customer care? And one of my healthy habits for customer care is I have all of my customer shipments go out after the 10th of the month, because I like to have that first week of the month to give them a call. So I know Reagan does it totally differently. She calls people on the 20th of each month for the following month, which is awesome. I'm not that on top of it yet, but think about some of these habits that you can build. Now, for me, it's all about the consistency. Figure out a way to do it that works and do the consistency, put it on the calendar, and take care of those contacts. So I would love to hear from a few of you. If there was, let's say, one thing about your Juice Plus, your daily method of operation, or how you operate as a person on a mission, as a person that owns this really wonderful business franchise, what's one thing that you would change about it if you could? Anybody want to volunteer?
I will volunteer, Ellen.
Okay.
I feel like I do pretty good customer care, and I talk to lots of new people. I'm finding that I'm not great about, like, if I'm out and about, I do use Teamsy, but if I'm out and about, I use Teamsy on my computer. It's just easier for me. So I'm out and about, and I'm talking to people all the time. I get messages randomly, and then I have to go back through my Facebook messages every now and again just to like catch up with myself. So sometimes I wish I would like make a physical note and just like that I need to add certain people into that, so that I am reminded to do follow up, and not like sometimes it's weeks later and I feel like, oh, I dropped the ball on that.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I think you bring up a couple great points. What are you guys using as memory joggers that works for you? Who's got a great memory jogger system that they love?
I'll say I do like the Teamsy idea, and it's great, but I run into the same issue that Erica has. And so if I were to go back and look at it, like, it looks like I haven't talked to anybody probably in like 3 weeks, but that's not like the reality. But just, I don't know. It's like, it sounded great. And I do think it's great because it helps you not lose people. But if you're out and about and you don't, life gets in the way, and then you've fed your family and whatever, and then all of a sudden it's time to go to bed and you haven't logged anybody, and then you need to go back in and do it. But it happened to me the same way even when I was writing everything down on paper. So I don't know. But at least if you stick them in Teamsy, you can go back and like scroll back through and find them again and go, oh my God, I totally didn't follow up with that person, or I forgot I talked to them, or I forgot I wanted to talk to them. So, I mean, I do like that. I wish there was some sort of brain dump where it just went from your brain and could just go right in there. And then you wouldn't have to.
No, that's a good point. I mean, and I think it's a great memory joggers, figuring out how you're going to use a memory jogger, what that's going to look like for you is different for everyone. I still do great with a list on paper. And I go through that list once or twice a week and make sure I have followed up with everybody. Can I tell you guys one little hack I've figured out is, at the top of your text messages, you can pin a message. So, it's like your mom texts you in the middle of the day and you're busy and mom has a question that takes a long answer, pin the message, come back to it later because it's at the top. I don't know if you can see this, but when I'm in that, I would say 48-hour plus with a person where we're going back and forth sharing information, and this is kind of a hot contact, I have them pinned in my text messages. So every time I open that, I am asking myself the question like, oh, should I be going back to this person? Oh, I haven't heard from them. Now's a good time to send a message. What do you do, Reagan?
I run everything through my calendar, everything. So if I'm talking to somebody, I have a call with them, I have an appointment. I know when I'm going to be speaking to them next. If they're not there, that I set another appointment with myself to remind myself to call them back. So I just forward that appointment forward. And if I'm out and about, I use notes on my phone to get all their information. But I run appointment to appointment to appointment to appointment, so I don't forget. Because if it's not in my calendar, it's not going to get done. So I have really learned to run my whole life by appointment. And, at first when somebody had recommended that, I thought, oh my gosh, it sounds like no fun at all. But what I found is that I can fit so much more into my life because I know kind of what I'm doing and I'm not having to go, let me check, and you can always squeeze somebody in, or I can do a call. Like I had lunch with Rachel Van Pelt today and the call from my car afterwards, and I knew I was going to do that, but it was in my calendar, right? So there you go. That's what I do.
So I think that's great. And I mentioned on Voxer this week that I had started doing that, what you do, Reagan, and I found it very helpful and freeing. Sometimes I think what slows us down here is mind clutter. What if, who is it? What am I supposed to be doing? I set aside an hour a day to do my Juice Plus, and it takes me the first half hour to figure out where to start. So if you really do run it by your calendar, for example, if you're setting aside, an hour after work from 5 to 6 o'clock, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you're setting aside 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock or 1 to 3 when the kiddos are napping, you can make sure that you calendar those appointments then. That way your calendar, it really is a masterful way to run your life, right? It's like you're putting your time and your energy and your resources, which are so precious, into those paycheck building activities. And I think, one of the reasons I thought about the 3 C's today is I thought, well, consistency, of course, we have to talk about. You got to do it every day. You got to make that phone call. When you promise somebody you're calling, for goodness sake, make the call. Don't disappear on them. Just because your kids are having a temper tantrum doesn't mean you can't, lock yourself in the bathroom and make the call. I've done it. Your kids will live through it. And actually, it's probably sometimes the best parenting you can do at the time. Or, if you have something that happens, like, gosh, I got stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire, let people know. But that consistency piece, but with your calendar and your contacts, that's where the income comes from. It doesn't come from rearranging your desk or Facebook posts or any of that kind of thing, even listening to training messages on Voxer, which are a wonderful resource. You build income when you talk to people, and when you build for events and you have those events and people are there with you and they're getting that message and they're taking the next step on their journey. So, okay, I want to ask that question again because I thought that was awesome what you shared with us, Erica. If there's one thing you could change, what would it be about how you operate?
I think also, like, I'm not as good about, leading with or talking about the business, right? So that would be something that I could change with what I'm doing.
We
currently.
talked about this a little bit on our sales coordinator call over the weekend. And, the only difference between me and you is that I have put more people in on my team who put more people in on their team, right? And you want to think about it like you can go out and get 10 new customers, right? You can do that, and that's great. You're doing that. But if you have 10 people who join your team and they all get 10 customers, that's 100 people getting healthier because you got help to spread the word, right? And you're going to get paid a lot more money and you're going to go up the marketing plan. So I love that we can inspire healthy living and really resonate with our mission by finding some people to help us. So Jen, you're right. Talking about what we do is just as important as Juice Plus, the product, right? Because if it makes sense to them, it's going to make sense to their friends. So you might as well invite them to say, look, you know what? You could be a resource for other people. I bet you know some other people who are struggling with whatever they said. Would you be willing to be a resource to the information for them too? Great. Let's set up a coffee and we'll have a little chat about that. Okay.
I think that's great. And I think the other thing that does when those conversations are more direct is it uses everyone's time wisely. We're not beating around the bush. And if somebody's not willing to move forward right now, they're going to let you know. They're not going to come meet you for coffee or whatever. So you're consistently taking those next steps with people. Awesome. I'm checking the time. So, anybody else want to share kind of what's one thing you would change? And I would also love to hear what's one thing you feel like you've incorporated over the years. And we have some great people on this call who have made a lot happen with Juice Plus in the midst of busy, full lives. I would love to hear if there's one thing you say, you know what, I did this really well and I think this worked well for me. Could you share it? Izzy, Judy, Mel, Erica, Jen.
Well, for me, as you know, most of you know that I also have a in-home childcare business. And the thing about that is my clients, my parent clients, are oftentimes ill. They're sick. They're bringing their child, but they've been sick, or they're just going straight home, or they're working sick. And after that little time passes, I just kind of talk to them and I just say, I've been your daycare provider for 2-3 years more usually. And I just asked them, how many sick days have I had? Have you ever noticed that I have been sick or called in sick? And they all, that just kind of dawns on them. No, you're never sick. You're never sick. What's up with that? And I just tell them about it. And so, yeah, most of my my childcare clients are on Juice Plus. And so that's one advantage I have because I see them every day, get to talk to them once in a while.
That's great. And I think that is really great. And I think you can also see with Izzy, she's consistent about it because she's got to be consistent about the other things in her life because she's running a daycare and these families are depending on her. And so again, who else has a good one they want to share? Bless you.
I'd say, really being consistent with being curious. Being curious about other people's lives and asking questions and getting really good at that. has definitely made a difference. Just in, kind of the DMO and what you do daily, and kind of getting that into your brain is really helpful.
Sorry, I completely missed that. I was convincing my child not to take apart the doorbell. So
I was wondering who is ringing.
It's
like somebody's here.
Well, I agree with you, Mel, on consistency and in being curious. That is so key in caring enough to ask somebody even, how are you? And not have it be passé, right? Like really care and listen, how are you? Most people will come back and say, oh, I'm okay, right? And to say, why aren't you great today? I mean, just to take sometimes a conversation just one more step. And you know what? Most of the time people will tell you, like, I don't feel good, the kids have been sick, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you can say, gosh, if I had something that could help with that, would you want the information?
So good. And Reagan, I got to tell you, you were so consistent about how you ask questions. And I think that is, I mean, that's why you're a 100 Club member, because you just have always been fearless about asking the questions, and asking the questions in a way that it's either a high yielding answer, you're going to get a lot of information, or it's a yes question. If I can show you some solutions for being exhausted and sick and on all those, medications, would you want to know? Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Tell me. So, I mean, I really think that's terrific.
Ellen, you're really good at being able to focus when I would be going crazy, just so you know.
And I'll kind of end with a little bit of my story. We don't have air freshener, honey. It's all chemicals. So, right, Mel?
God, I love it.
You never know around here. And that's the thing. That's life, right, guys? You never know, right? So many variables in our lives are not under our direct control. And I think something that's very empowering about doing this is you can control your level of activity. You can control your actions. It's why people get so confident when they lose weight, eat right, and go get in shape at the gym, because they did a discipline, and it builds your confidence to do this. And for those of you who are moms and you've got people watching you do this, you are giving them such a gift, because they are watching that discipline. They are watching your effort. They are watching your work ethic, and they're internalizing that. And obviously for me, this started with Max in the baby carrier, and that's been a lot of surprises along the way. So, but back when I started this, and Reagan really gave me great coaching back in the day, just touch it every day, and I used those DMO worksheets and talk to 2 new people every day, and talk to 2 customers, and talk to 2 team members, and invite people to your events consistently. And that built me such a terrific income. And I'm so thankful for it, because I've had all those years home with the kids as well, and being hands-on, and that really was a product of consistency, not necessarily being perfect or saying it perfect or being in a good mood all the time or anything like that. There's a million times I think I wanted to fire myself, but just staying committed. Right, Jill? I've also fired myself on multiple occasions from motherhood, but you come back and you try again. And I really will say it was the consistency of making sure that I talked to new people out in the sandbox, at the swim lessons, at the preschool, at MOPS or whatever, and doing a little bit of follow-up every day and building for events. And Wendy Campbell, Sean Myers, Reagan, all of these guys talked about events, and they just said, you can build any kind of income you want if you'll just master events. And that's where that calendar and those contacts come in. Where can you commit to that and give it everything you've got? So
I was just thinking of something, we're doing a little coffee event, another event. Jenna's doing an awesome event at a coffee shop. in Denver on Friday. And I was just kind of wrapping my brain around what we'll be doing. Jenna, I texted you, by the way. And, they, in the Start Strong book for kids, they have a sticker sheet if they eat certain fruits and vegetables. And wouldn't it be fun for us to also sometimes gamify us, talking to 1 or 2 people a day? Like, what's your reward at the end of the week, right? You could do an adult tracker or sticker sheet that you go, gosh, if I actually do this, I'm going to get to buy those new pair of shoes, or I'm going to go out to lunch, with a girlfriend, and I'm going to pay for lunch because I'm going to be bragging about how great I did, right? So, make it fun for yourself to be able to go out and talk to 1 or 2 people a day. And 2 people a day will get you plenty of people to talk to, trust me. You will have a lot of people that are interested if you can just be thinking about, okay, I'm looking for that other person that might need to get healthy, and your ears open up. And next thing you know, you say to somebody while you're checking out at Costco, right, Beth? Like Beth said at the beginning of the call, she ran into a lady who was there pitching some other product and got into a conversation with her, asked her questions. So great job, Beth.
Thank you.
But that could be one of the people you talk to. It could be anywhere. You don't have to know everybody all the time. You could just go out and get your nails done and strike a conversation up with the person next to you. Or, maybe you sit next to somebody at your office. Or Adrian, I know you're around all kinds of people all the time. I mean, traveling, that's an airplane. I met a lady on an airplane I'm talking to right now. So it's just really being interested in other people, right? Well, Ellen, great job. You are awesome. Awesome trainer, and great topic for tonight. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks. I mean, obviously, you guys, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's just always a little nutty, but I think the thing that always drives me is I want to see people make their lives better. And, just it's fun doing a call like this. You think back over, for me, the last 13 years. Reagan, you've been here longer. It's, Jen and I were talking about the last 13 years, like things have changed. We've raised kids and all this stuff. And it's really awesome to see how we've changed, how this has transformed us, the friendships we have, and also the impact that all of us have had on so many people. And I just believe we're really called to continue to make that impact. And with this new comp plan the company's given us, you guys, we have a gift for people. Let's get out there and share it.
Yes. And invite them to come play with us, especially at Murder at the Juice.
Yes, I'm ready for Murder Mystery.
Okay. You guys all have an awesome week. Thank you, Ellen.
Thanks, Ellen. That was awesome.
Thank
you, Ellen. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank
See
you.
you, Ellen.
Bye-bye.
See everybody.